Hey guys, welcome back. It is Vortie here. We got some pretty good news this morning, and as always, I'm gonna start the video off super awkward to make it a Vortie video. Why not? And by starting the video super awkward, we're gonna be in the middle of a fight, obviously. At this point, we're not even near the fight. We literally just got in. Literally. In the meantime, we're gonna show off Gladio. And this badass music, by the way. Listen to it. Final Fantasy 15 music. Kicking ass. It's so good. Yeah. You can call me DJ Vortie. Okay, easy. Let's take that down a notch. Alright, so overall the Final Fantasy 15 event is not coming to an end, not just yet. We're about to get the next part of Final Fantasy 15's fight, which is Adrian whatever. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also talk about a little bit about what's happening next on December 1st as well, because the banner is going to be overlapping, which is kind of interesting, which kind of fits my theory of the fact that we are going to be getting something really big in December. Something like a cloud, you know, like a big cloud. Maybe like a sea cloud. I don't know. We'll have to see what we get. But we're going to be getting something pretty big, and it seems like they're preparing for it by overlapping some other units that they want to kind of get in here before that. What I was anticipating as well in this update, and I didn't really sand it into anyone because it would have been really cool just not to just have it. I didn't want to jinx it. I was hoping that we were going to be getting Ramza updates, like the enhancements. We would have gotten the Ramza updates, and then what we would find out is that we would get Cloud early December, and for January we would get Roy. And then end of January we'd be getting like CG units, which are our animated limit burst units, which would have been really good to have. But that didn't happen, so oh, look at that, I did stuff. Okay, now let's jump into the part of the video, the reason you got baited into here because of the picture and stuff. Alright, so first, which is coming out tomorrow as well, is going to be the Final Fantasy 15 highly difficult quest, the Web Weaving Princess will be available. It's Ariadne, like a Arachne. She's a spider. The map is a little bit interesting. It's not like you just jump into the fight unless they changed it, but you come in, you have to explore a little bit, and then you get to her, and then when you fight her, then you just kill her. So, I mean, in the Japanese version, I was actually able to beat her with like my Noctises and nothing else. Obviously with Noctises. But what I'm saying is, like, I don't have a lot of good gear there, and I didn't have a hard time beating her. Because what you do is you farm up the limit burst and come inside and just spank her silly. So it was fairly easy. So he says here, our little Cooper friend, attack and magic reductions work, so you can break her attack and magic. However, her defense and spirit will not be reduced. So you need a dead killer to get in there. Looking at the completion rewards, the initial completion reward, you get the 5-star Trust Moogle, which is kind of general about these kinds of events. You get no smoke bombs. Will get you 10,000s of the debased coins, which is fine. I don't think people will need that. Monsters weren't very difficult. Defeating her within 10 turns will give you a fire resistance plus 15%. Not something super crazy to do, but I don't think you'll need 10 turns to beat her, especially if you have all your limit bursts. You can probably bring her more than half in the first swing of things, if not kill her. And then, probably the more difficult one is going to be clear without an ally being KO'd. The monsters are not that hard, but because it's like a bit of a run to get to her, you can get distracted and then you might end up having someone die. So what I'm going to be doing for this event, I'm going to bring all my beefiest units. Like, I'm not going to sit there and fool around. I'm going to bring my beefiest units because I really want that sword. I'm pretty sure that's what you guys are going to want as well. The rest of these rewards are to be in consideration to this greatsword are garbage. So, I mean, like, I want to make sure I get that. Non-elemental greatsword is really, really good to have. Actually, it looks super badass. I want it for Gladio. Pretty much. But yeah, so that's how it is. Bring all your beefiest units, going there for the win. Once you clear it, if you want to come back and fool around a little bit and get the other crap, then go for it. But I will be making a video doing the whole process from the start of the quest till the end of the quest and what I'm doing. It's going to be a long video, but I want you guys to see exactly how I'm doing it and what I'm going to be doing, and that way you can hopefully make your own strategy based on that. So obviously, bring the units that we have here to get the best of it. Lapis cannot be used to continue during this fight, obviously, because this is supposed to be a high difficulty event. You die, you die. That's it. Game over. Alright, now, The news that was announced this morning, the fate of the dragon is coming. It is a Final Fantasy Brave Exvius story. He's going to be introducing the new units that they're going to be introducing. I'll talk about those at the bottom here, as well as the banner. So if you are new to these styles of events, essentially what happens is you get this like little map. You click on it, and then you'll be presented with a bunch of different stages, battle stages and scenario stages. Battle stages is you have to fight some monsters, kind of like in a story you do for Final Fantasy FFXV. The scenario maps have a little bit of like a scroll, and that's when you have like a story. It varies in time. Sometimes it's really short, sometimes it's a little bit longer, like a couple of minutes. It's a good way to get an understanding of the unit that you're kind of following along. Completing these rewards or quests and the fights and battles will yield you some better rewards like crysts. And this one is focused on white elk crysts and power pure crysts. The one note I do want to make sure you guys are aware of, when you're selecting your mission, when you're about to pick up your friend unit, what you're going to do, once you select your items and all that stuff, you cannot change it for the full duration of the event, which is normally like 10 or 15 events or battles. So make sure you strategically pick and bring the units you need to complete all the achievements so that you can get all that free loot. So make sure you got the right Esper, make sure you got the right magic coverage, make sure you got everything you need to make sure you make it happen. Because if you fail at the end, and then you complete it, you're going to have to do it all the way from the beginning to get that last one. Okay, so it's a pain in the butt, so make sure you focus. So looking at the limited equipment you will get during this event, you got the heavy Drake armor, really nice armor, gives you all the resistance to 10%, and it gives you defense 40 and spear 22. The spear, on the other hand, is not that great, but whatever. You guys can kind of see how as it is. It does have auto bravery, which increases your attack every turn. The attack is really weak though, 52. It's so poo-poo. The units we got here is going to be the weakest unit, Cherry, then Mistia, Duke, Olaf, and Ryunan. You got 2 Dragoons here, you got a Green Mage, you got a Barrier Mage, and then you got a Dancer. Really useless, by the way. But anyway, so those are the units, and that is the event we're going to be looking at that's coming out tomorrow. So let's take a look at the banner. Looking at the banner here, overall, if this was to come out any other time, I would say, you know, do your thing, pull for the main dude because he's actually pretty good. The Barrier Mage is actually pretty good too, so I would say that. But because of where we are in the end of the year and knowing that stuff is coming out in December, something big, as well as we got our Christmas units coming up and there's a New Year event coming out, at that point, my judgment is reserved to say, do not pull. Do your daily pulls, but don't pull unless you really are a whale and you really want Duke. Go for it. These guys are a part of the pool forever, so you're not gonna be able to pull them. You'll get them eventually, but I'm just saying there's nothing about them that's super amazing that you're gonna need. Alright, so let's take a look at the different units here, starting with Duke, the 5-star base Kahuna. He's the big fish of this banner. You're gonna probably want him. I want him. He's a Dragoon. He looks badass. His spear is super badass. Has got super high attack. He's got a trust mastery called Dragoon's Pride. Boost attack when equipped with a spear or a helmet. So if you equipped it with a spear, it's 30%. If you equipped it with a helmet, it's 30%. That's the boost of it. It's okay. Nothing super crazy. I see the ore in there, so it's not boost attack when equipped with a spear and a helmet. So it's either or. That's kind of the way it is. I'm not sure how it's going to work out as a glitch or not, but that's what it is. It's 30% per item. Okay. He's got some interesting abilities. He's got a lot of jumps and stuff like that, but his most iconic ability that I personally think is going to be the Hexa Thrust. It deals partially unmitigated damage and reduces ice resistance for one enemy. We'll return back to this move a little bit later as we get to the other units and why it's actually really cool, but it does 2 point, what was it? Yeah, it's a 2 times multiplier and ignores the defense by 50%, and it gives them that that peril. Okay. Attack is very high, so making him like an attack unit is ideally what you want. He also gets an increase in damage with spears as a passive, so making sure that you can actually do some good damage with those badass spears. Alright, looking at the next unit. His name is Olaf. Olaf is a green mage. He's actually okay. He's not super crazy, but if you don't have any other good green mages, then he's actually a really good mage, if you want to look at it that way. He doesn't cover light and dark at like a 50 or 70% resistance range like some other green mages do, but he does do all the other ones like fire, earth, wind, etc. at 70%. He also does all the elements at 20% and also reduces your your damage reduction by 15%. Okay, overall, if you know that you're gonna need the basic elements covered, bringing him along is not that bad because if you have 2 elements you have to cover, so let's say fire and ice, you cast Bar Farega one turn, next turn Bar Blazaga, and then third turn he has nothing to do. At that point you can cast something like Drake Formation, which will boost your fire, like your resistance to everything, and it will also do the reduction. He's got a few other abilities like Drake Slay Ritual, which will boost physical damage and magical damage against dragons for all allies by 15%, so depending on who you're fighting you can do that. Or on his third turn, he could do the Whisper of the Wyram, which will also, for I think 3 or 4 turns, will recover everybody's MP over time. So overall, he's actually an interesting unit. His downside is he's very weak. Like, he gets some physical attacking things like modifiers that make him do magic damage or whatever by like a 3-point-something multiplier, but there's no use. He's gonna be too busy doing other stuff, like casting his resistances, casting, like, you know, to bring back your units and stuff like that. So overall, there's some lost opportunity there where they could have done more for him and made him more of a green mage. In my opinion, a green mage, he buffs and he like debuffs the other unit. That's all it is. He debuffs enemies, he buffs your party. Making green mages do damage is a redundancy, and it's just like putting an ability into him that you're like, oh man, like really? Like, come on. Like, he's not gonna have a chance to do it anyways. But he does have an ability that he starts off with that actually does some decent damage. Overall, his Trust Mastery is called Robe of Forgiveness. Defense 30, 55 spirit, hit points 10%. Really, really nice robe. He goes from 4-star to 6-star, so it's actually cool. He's not limited by anything. Overall, pretty decent unit if you do get him. If I do get him, I'm going to level him up to max because I'm not really sure when I will need a unit like this. And it's always good to have a variety of green mages or support units that can cover a bunch of different things. So if you do get him, he's a must-have to level up to 6-star, unless you have Marie. Then you really have the best unit. Next one here is going to be Misty. Misty. So Misty is the next unit here. She, in my opinion, can be like a mini tank. Actually, she can be a full tank if you really do it right. Hit points is kind of a little bit low. Her spirit's really high, her defense is pretty decent, and her MP is really high. Her spirit is the thing that makes her more viable as a tank for like magic attacking units. Ugh. So 4-star going to 6-star, job is a barrier mage. Her Trust Mastery is called Barrier Master, defense spirit 15%, all resistances 15%. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good Trust Mastery, good to put on a tank for sure. Even on herself would be really, really great. What does she do? She is a barrier mage. She casts barriers and stuff like that on people, but what's interesting about her, she's got this ability called Tritilial Wall. What it does is it allows her to jump in front of units when she's guarding, but she's also got another ability that allows her to jump in front of allies like Warrior of Light and take damage for them. And she gets a boost, so she gets the reduced damage by 50% for attack, 50% by spirit, plus this Tritilial Wall, which gives her like another 20% or 30%. She's at like 70% reduction, which is huge. And on top of that, she's got these interesting little abilities to help dispel things off of units, also remove and cast abilities on yourself to remove things like silence, paralysis, confuse disease, and stop, etc. So an overall very interesting type of unit. She can tank, and she can debuff your unit, or yeah, like remove debuffs off of your units and dispel the other unit, like the enemy, which is really cool. If you do get this unit as well, my advice again, just like the first one here as Olive, get her up to level, you know, max, and fully set, like 6-star her. Will become useful, I promise. Especially when you're fighting heavy magic intensive units. With her spirit boost and putting some, you know, decent tanking gear on her, you can get her to AoE cover units for you and take no damage at all. Very, very worthy unit, okay? Next one here, Dancer. Oh my god. Other than the Trust Masteries, this unit is very doo-doo. 3-star going to 5-star, Dancer, everything is pretty weak except their MP. Like I said, the Trust Mastery is decent. It's not crazy, like it's low tier in my opinion. What she can do is she can actually restore your units, like she does a revive by 100% to one ally, which is really cool. She learns at a 5-star level 80. Everything else is kind of interesting. She's got some like healing and like buffing abilities from her dances, but that's what a dancer does. She buffs people. Overall, I wouldn't shake a stick at her at all. If you do get her, my advice is to keep, as you get more of her, just keep feeding her into herself till you do get yourself a Trust Mastery that you can use on one of your tanks. Looking at the last unit here, Ryunen. Yikes. 3-star going to 5-star Dragoon. Super badass looking, green armor, amazing spear. And the reason I said at the top here, we'll talk about this ability a little bit more. Hexar Thrust. Ice resistance, reduces ice resistance by 50%. Where you gotta get yourself an ice spear for your Duke, you gotta get it from Rainunen. Rainunen drops his Trust Mastery. Reward is the Northern Lights. It's an 120 attack spear that deals ice damage and also enables auto protect, which boosts your defense each turn. This spear is designed for Duke, and it's on the same banner as Duke is. So this is a must-have. If you do get Duke, make sure you also get Rainunen's spear to make sure that that Hexor Thrust does even more damage. Okay. Overall, Rainunen, other than his Trust Mastery, he's got some interesting abilities here. He's got some cool mechanics. I really like what he can become. But overall, he's a really weak unit. The thing about his abilities is like different stuff like Heavenfall Spear, Drake Raid Spear. He will jump, he will disappear for a turn or two. When he comes back down, he will do some damage and then he'll have a secondary effect to his jump. Like either he's gonna heal everyone, or like look at this one here. Next turn would boost damage against dragons for himself. Actually, I think this is for everyone. Yeah, boost damage for everyone. He leaps into the air, reducing fire, ice, lightning, water, earth, and light damage or dark resistance to an enemy by 20% for the next turn. It's very interesting. He's got some interesting mechanics. I don't know if he's really worth your materials to awaken him at this point until we see what he's gonna have in his future. But like I said, if you do get him, the Trust Mastery is a must-have. All right, guys. Alrighty, so we're at the end of the video here. So overall, again, I'm going to stick to my guns and say that even though this banner looks really good, it's got some really good units I want because they are not limited units. I'm just going to bite the bullet and be like, you know what, I will get them eventually. I really do want the Barrier Mage, I do want Olaf. I wouldn't mind having them on my team because you never know when you're going to need them. Just nervous a lot because I don't know what's coming in December. It's going to be probably Sea Loud or Cloud. Sea Loud. And then I'm just not sure. So that's where I'm going to sit. If these were limited units, I probably would have done a couple of summons to try my luck and maybe get Olaf and the Barrier Mage, especially the Barrier Mage. But in that case, I think daily pulls will be sufficient for you guys. Take my advice, save your Lapis for the banners that are going to be coming, especially for that 15,000 Lapis banner where you're going to get a guaranteed 5-star. You might just get Duke if you're looking for him. So just hang in there. That's just my advice. But again, my advice is my advice, in my opinion. You kind of take it with a grain of salt. You collect your units as you wish, but this is kind of where I'm sitting. So I probably will not be doing any pulls on it other than the daily pulls. Alright guys, thank you so much for sticking around. If you did enjoy the video, hit that like and subscribe button in the comment section below. Let me know if you're going to be pulling and why. Maybe you will convince me. Maybe I have to pull on this. There might be a reason. Let me know. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for sticking around. Hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you share the videos to help a bro out. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is Vortie. Peace out.
I said it.